Three, two, one.
You ready?
Listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We are the Real Pineapple. This is Hunter, and I'm here with Colin. Colin, how are you, friend?
I'm good, man. Excited to hear how Ant-Man and the Wasp was.
So here's the thing. Me and Scott and Missy Buddy, we reviewed the first Ant-Man, and Scott actually liked it better than I did initially. I believe he gave it a B or B plus. I gave it a B minus. I kind of was like, it's fun, it's fine. But
that's kind of how I was on the first one. I was like, I don't know if I care about this character.
Yeah. I will say, I enjoyed this one way more than the first one for me.
Oh, okay.
I left the theater and I went, okay, that just flowed a lot better. So,
can you explain the timeline on this for me? Because, like, this is, like, before Infinity War, right? Or something like that?
So I gotta kind of throw this out now, because I can't not talk about the timeline without spoiling shit. So, full spoilers for Ant-Man the Wasp right now, just throwing that out there. So, okay, as I review the movie, I'll kind of explain where it falls in the timeline. So, basically, Scott Lang, played by one of my biggest man crushes, Paul Rudd, he's under house arrest because of the whole airport battle in Civil War. They were like, hey, you stole tech, and you didn't sign the Sokovia Accords, so yeah, you're under house arrest. If you receive that tech again, you're going to jail for 20 years. So they actually have him like hooked up to a monitor and all that shit. So he's really not doing anything. He's working with Louise, played again by Michael Pena, who I did just genuinely love him for this one.
He's so great in the first one.
He's great. I actually liked him better in this one than I liked him in the first one. Actually, I thought he was funnier. But
nice.
Basically, Hank Pym, played by Michael Douglas, who I fucking adore, and then Evangeline Lilly, who of course plays the Wasp, Hope in this movie. They've been on the run because they were like, basically the government went, hey, he used an Ant-Man suit. You have the Pym particle and all that Pym tech. We're going to go ahead and hunt you down and arrest you. So they've been on the run since Civil War, which I thought was actually a pretty interesting dynamic to throw in. So they're really pissed off at Scott. The only reason they even bring Scott back into the fold is because if you've watched Doctor Strange, they've touched on the fact that you can enter the quantum realm, and Ant-Man, of course, entered the quantum realm at the end of the first movie, was able to get out by messing with his radiator. So in this time around, he basically was having dreams about Hope's mother, Janet, played by Michelle Pfeiffer, who, can I say, is still a fox, by the way. But she's been
she wasn't in the first one, was she?
She was not.
Michelle
no.
Pfeiffer, yeah.
So basically, the big thing is it's a big rescue mission to go ahead and bring her back from the quantum realm. So here's the thing.
That's like the main plot of the movie. Is they're trying to get Michelle Pfeiffer?
That's the main plot.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So here's the thing. You have to swallow a lot of just, it's science, shut up, to enjoy the last 25 minutes of this. And I'll just say, as much as I enjoyed this movie, there was some stuff I went, okay, movie. Like, I'm trying to give you some rope, but you gotta work with me here. So, the quantum realm, they kind of explained that it's basically alternate realities, as they explained in Doctor Strange, and that's where Wasp, the original Wasp, has been trapped. In between that, they're basically on the run from the government. they're gathering bits and pieces of other tech to go ahead and put together this quantum tunnel to basically get to the quantum realm. And while all that's happening, they're going ahead and they're battling Ghost, who's played by Hannah John Kamen, who I will say, my roommate pointed this out to me, James, shout out to James, that he basically looks like a character out of Destiny. And I gotta admit, when I looked up the character he was referring to, I went, "Oh yeah, that costume is very reminiscent of Destiny." That's kind of weird. I think this character is way undervalued in the sense that I think her arc works way better than a lot of people might think it would. Basically, the shorthand version, and it's interesting because she's an Iron Man villain primarily in the comics, so I thought it was a really interesting choice to bring her in. And usually Gus is a dude, but they went. There's been female versions of the character, but I thought it was kind of cool to actually go the female route. And she basically, her dad was working on a science experiment. Experiment goes wrong, and basically she is her cells are always moving, so she's only able to like do something simple like make a fist or something like that, or touch another person or an object for a select amount of time. So she wants to get to the quantum realm to go ahead and try to rectify that. So it's an interesting take on the character and something I actually enjoyed. And her phase out effects allow her to go through like doors and things like that. So that's why she's interested in the Pym tech. And I actually thought that was an interesting direction to take the character. Now getting on to something that you said that you enjoyed in the first one, Luis, who's played by Michael Pena,
yeah.
he does get another. So this is what happened, right? Sort of moment with
he does all the dialogue, and then they like cut to the scenes where everybody's talking.
Yeah,
that's my favorite.
Yeah, so basically, this movie works as, and I think this is something that's important for the Ant-Man movies, is that it's a comedy first before it is a comic book movie. Because really, these movies are made to make you laugh. And after Infinity War, God, did I need to laugh. Because this movie does kind of remind you, like, hey, we can be fun. It's not all Thanos wiping out half the population. But the comedy works really well in this, and Louise is a big part of that. I think my biggest complaint about this movie, and it is a complaint, is Walton Goggins, who, of course, you know from Hateful Eight, Justified. He was great on Community. He plays Sonny Birch, who's basically just kind of another tech adversary, and he has maybe 10 minutes of screen time. And I just went, that's a real shame for someone as talented as Walton Goggins. He's in the movie at the beginning, and he's kind of scattered throughout, helping chase down the Pyms, and then at the very kind of last big kind of fight scene, he's kind of involved. But I thought that was a real big waste of him, to be honest. And I know what some people are going to say is, Marvel has a villain problem. I really don't think the villain problem is as insane as a lot of people think it is. I think that the villains are there to complement the heroes and not, in some cases directly be an adversary, which I think Marvel has shown that works for them. But this was an actor who I think is one of the best actors we have. We'll wait to review Tomb Raider, but I thought that he was just really underutilized here, and that was a bummer to me. One of the things that I did really enjoy is Randall Park is in this, who of course you know from Fresh Off the Boat. He of course played Kim Jong Un in the interview, which is the main thing. Yeah,
they hate us because they ain't us.
Yeah, exactly. And he's on Veep, which I think is a really underrated show that I actually started watching a couple like a month or so ago, and I'm really getting into. But he was really funny. He's that kind of that typical FBI agent. He wants to go ahead and take down Ant-Man, get his big get, but at the same time he kind of wants to be friends with him. He's like, oh, like you can shrink and grow. That's kind of cool. And he asked him out to dinner in this really awkward but hilarious way. I thought it was actually he gave me a lot of actual really good belly laughs in this. The thing about this movie, man, is that there's a lot going on, but it does a pretty good job of juggling it all. the action scenes are really well done. And I thought that was my biggest fear because there's no Edgar Wright safety net this time around. And while Edgar Wright didn't finish the first Ant-Man the way he wanted, he did get a story. I believe a screenwriting credit on it too. So you could definitely feel his influence with a lot of the jokes and even some of the action, the way it was shot, especially after watching Baby Driver. The action does work really well here. It takes place in San Francisco, one of my favorite cities. And the last big kind of chase scene involves Ant-Man turning into Giant Man, taking a truck and basically using it as a razor scooter to chase down Walton Goggins' Sonny. You have Hope as a Wasp. She's trying to go ahead and take down these villains from taking down Scott. And then you have Michael Douglas, Hank Pym. He's using this machine they built to go ahead and enter the quantum realm. So there's a lot going on in the last 30 minutes. And it does a really good job of just bouncing back and forth between each little thing that's happening. That I went, oh, okay, you're actually doing a good job of balancing all this. Also, too, the movie, it's pretty short for a Marvel movie. It's about 2 hours, I would say. Maybe a hair over, but not much more, to be honest. I went, oh, okay. And the movie really does kind of know to not overstay its welcome. There's a scene in the very beginning, because Scott's been on house arrest, so him and his daughter, Cassie, who is just so goddamn adorable. Whenever I see that actress, I'm like, oh, like, just warms my heart. But she,
I heard they used her a lot more in this movie.
They really did, and she kind of is one of the emotional cruxes of the movie. She really does kind of talk her dad off the ledge a couple times, and just tells him that he can do anything, and it's just a very sweet character, and I really appreciate that. There's one of the opening scenes in the movie. Scott has basically created this giant Ruth Goldberg-esque machine, basically, where they're able to get on a skateboard and ride through these cardboard tunnels that he's built, pretending like they're both Ant-Man, and it leads them outside. And I was like, that's really cute. And a lot of the movie really does admittedly get by on the fact that you just go, oh, a lot, because it is really sweet. And she really worked well for me. And I think the big problem that people are going to have is that, and I don't even think this is a problem, but it's something that I think people will bring up, is that it's not end of the world stakes. You know what I mean? It is very subdued in that sense. And pun intended, it is on a smaller scale as far as everything is concerned. There's not a whole lot of tie-ins to the larger MCU. It is more self-contained until the end, and I'll get there. But I enjoyed that. It was nice to come off of the whole universe is at stake to more of, hey, San Francisco could be in trouble. Not just because of top skyrocketing rent prices. I went, oh, okay, this is kind of
that makes sense. I could see how that'd be refreshing to just kind of have a smaller scale. Like everything's just more self-contained. It's not a giant, unstoppable force coming to destroy the universe. I could see that being refreshing.
Exactly, and Abby Ryder Fortson is who plays Cassie. She does a great job in this, and so I will say kind of wrapping up here. That's kind of important. So the end of the movie, by the way, and this actually knocked the movie down a little bit for me. So there's two after credit scenes, right? There's a mid credits and after credits. I cannot stress enough: do not stay for the after credits. Because it's dumb and it's pointless and it doesn't mean anything. I just kind of went, really? I actually would have rather had them just have a mid-credit scene than even have the second one. It actually really irritated me. It actually kind of pissed me off, if I'm being completely honest. So that's number one. Number two, after they go ahead and this is kind of important too. Wasp, Michelle Pfeiffer's character. So you know how I mentioned that Ghost was phasing and she couldn't be solid because her cells and all that. Mm-hmm. Basically, they get Wasp, Michelle Pfeiffer, they get her out of the quantum realm, right? And basically, Ghost's plan is she's going to drain her energy because she's been in the quantum realm and she thinks that can like stabilize her cells, right? So Michelle Pfeiffer, Wasp, he goes up to her and she like everyone's like, no, don't go near her. And she's kind of holds her hand up like, I got this. And she goes, are you in pain? And she goes like every day, and Wasp just touches her and heals her, and I went, okay, movie. Like that was something I went, like, okay, I need more than you touch, you're healed. It was very lazy writing, and that was something that actually did bother me, especially for the last 10 minutes of the movie. It was just like, okay, like that's kind of lame. So, tying into the mid-credits scene, they've basically figured out how to enter the quantum realm. That big machine they built to get in initially, they found a way to miniaturize it so it fits in the back of Louise's van, right? So it's all of them. So it's Ant-Man, it's Hank Pym, it's original Wasp, and it's Hope, right? So they basically tell Scott, hey, you're going to the quantum realm, like, don't do this, you'll get caught in a time vortex and won't be able to get you out, and don't do this. And so he's like, all right, cool, I got this. So they send him in the quantum realm. They're like, all right, 5, 4, 3. You get static, and that's when you realize that the Thanos finger snap turns them into dust. So Scott's literally trapped in the quantum realm and can't get out, supposedly, right now.
Oh, okay.
And I'll be honest, man, our whole theater was like, oh! Like, it caught me off guard. And I think what bugged me more is I should have seen that coming, and Marvel got me. I was like, oh, you son of a bitch. Fuck, you got me on that. So, it's actually really well done.
Yeah, that's cool how they incorporated that.
Yeah, so it seems like this movie takes place right before Infinity War, like right up to the finger snap. And I went, okay, that was clever. I gotta give you guys credit on that. Despite my... And I've been back and forth on this because as far as a grade, wrapping this up, I think this movie, it does have its problems, and I laid out some of them. By the way, Lawrence Fishburne is in here playing... oh my gosh, why am I blanking on the character's name? But he's in here. Oh god, he's Goliath in the comics. Bill Foster. God, I was like, I should know that. But he was an original partner with Hanks in S.H.I.E.L.D., which I thought was a great comic book nerd. I was like, oh yeah, you brought that up. Cool. It was cool the way they brought that up. And he actually gets a little more screen time than I thought he was going to get, which made me happy. So I kind of bounced off the Walton Goggins. I hope he gets used more. It does kind of lead you to think like he might be. But even with my complaints, I did have so much fun with this. It is I thought this was a sizable upgrade for the most part over the first film. And I think that you can see this as a nice Infinity War palate cleanser. Just go, okay, like maybe this will all be okay. But I would give this... Damn. I'm going to give this a B+. I just think an A- is a little too generous for this, just with some of my problems. But me and Alea went and saw this on Saturday, and we both really walked out and went, wow, we both really enjoyed that. So, yeah, I think a B+ is, I would definitely recommend seeing it. But, yeah, there are some issues. So, yeah, solid B+ for me.
Nice, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. So, sounds like it's a good improvement on the first one.
Yeah, it really is. And no disrespect to Edgar Wright, because I still want to see what an Edgar Wright Ant-Man movie fully realized would look like. Just throwing that out there. So, just saying. But, guys, Ant-Man The Wasp, have you seen it? Let us know what you thought in the comments below. You can follow us on Podbean, iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean at and SoundCloud, pardon me, at The Real Pineapple. You can follow yours truly on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. Follow our boy Scott on Twitter at Nearman1st, and you can follow Mr. Colin on Twitter at
The Real O'Neill.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. We will have reviews up this weekend for Rampage, thank God. We'll have a review up for Skyscraper, and a review for Hotel Transylvania Summer Vacation, which, if you can tell my tone, I'm not super stoked about its theme. But we will see. Stranger things have happened. Hopefully it's good. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.